Maker of Kings is on right now, and you can be a part of it. Join us at News Radio 830 KHVH. We are Facebook Live right now on News Radio 830 KHVH Hawaii. Come on, join us, Facebook Live. But the most important thing is welcome to the most compelling hour of radio, and it's the Maker of Kings. There's no doubt about it.
That's it.
We got everybody in studio, got all the boys
on
in
September
studio with us here, and
29th.
we can't wait to get started. Hey, if you want to join us, 521-8383, 1-888-565-8383. Leading the pack and joining us in studio, the most handsome man in the room is Mr. Jim Keener. Good morning.
Wow. Thank you very much, Rick. Thanks for
Start
having
off
us in
there.
today.
Wow.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for having us.
We tell the truth here on the
We're
program.
working.
We tell the truth.
I appreciate it.
Also, Mr. Drew Compean is with us here today, too. Brother Drew.
I guess I'm top 5.
On the far mic.
Oh, you're top 6.
That's not bad. Yeah, see?
I'll take 6. I'm about the men.
Yeah. It's all manly men. And, of course, Mr. Corey Cazares.
Grateful to be here, brother. Good morning to you. Oh,
Good morning. Good morning.
things are
You know,
flickering.
we need to call somebody to take care of that. Anybody you can
I know.
recommend?
Andy.
That's it. Mr. Rich Elliott. Aloha, brother. Not too bad. But one thing that we need to do, we need to talk to our cubbies about what
Winning?
the heck.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on, man?
Exactly.
Detroit? Come on. Jeez.
Go Sox.
Who? Oh,
Oh, goodness.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Whoa.
Oh.
Early.
Ouch.
That's early for
Sorry,
that.
Lance.
that's
Hey, Dad's watching.
that's
Early.
I can't believe the mics are on for that. Listen, gentlemen, we are confronting, of course, an impending storm, which has the attention of everyone. It is Hurricane Lane. We're in the very early stages, but it denotes a difficult situation in the world of business for businesses, crisis, etc. Jim, lead us off, if you wouldn't mind, when it comes to crises
Mhm.
and how businesses react, respond, and survive.
Yeah, we use situational framing. So what we've been doing is we've been pre-planning our basically our entire project. So I've had Rich looking after segregating our teams. We've been isolating different locations to stage all of our materials, where to stage our vehicles, to create locations for people to meet up. So it's predetermined where they're going to meet in the event that there's a crisis, and just kind of reverse planning, right? Worst case scenario back to where we are today, and making sure that we're taking every positive step to ensure that in the event that something does break, that we have people in the right place. We've kind of reduced our work schedule to anything that's not mandatory to make ourselves available for the local residents needing board up, needing any type of situation that they may need. They can reach out to us and we'll be ready to go.
You have a myriad of different companies, of course, under this great umbrella. But when you talk about being able to reduce us to essential workload to free up time,
Yes.
are you saying that if folks are dialed in right now and they've got issues, we have an impending storm, they need some help, I need some plywood up, I need some stuff moved, I need it battened down, I need whatever it is, call you.
We're the guys. Yeah. We have a
Beautiful.
couple different companies. We have Handy Andy Hawaii, which will give you that information, and Rescue One Restoration. So
Right.
in the event that there's a water, flood, fire, wind damage, that company was built specifically for that purpose. And then the Handy Andy is our handyman team, and we have a construction team as well. In the event that they need additional services, we're ready to rock and roll at a moment's notice.
That is amazing. Drew, your thoughts about the diversity of the companies that that you provide?
You know, with the agility in the model, it enables us and affords us the ability to be able to act in times of need in critical situations like this. And so we're super blessed the way we built it to be able to be in position to help and affect change.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, one thing, well, my background, I was a firefighter paramedic when I got here. So I have a background in emergency services. And so I've operated in that scope for many years. And I know exactly how to build businesses to perform as such. So I think we're in good hands.
I think so too, no doubt about it. Rich, let me go over to you just a little bit with the companies, of course, that you are leading, and just dovetail a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, especially when there is crisis afoot, what you recommend or what you would share with businesses right now that might be having a little bit of anxiety.
I think the number one thing is, we always talk about it. Take care of your people. Your people are most important. So number one, make sure everyone's safe. Make sure you're going home to a safe place, and also have an action plan. So you guys can all reconvene, figure out an opportunity where, hey, I can touch base at this time. If not, and there's an option if the phones go down, if the email goes down. Just find a way to communicate with each other. I think that's most important. In addition to that, the restoration company that we've launched, and that's pretty much what we're looking for is if there's a need, you know, a window breaks out, something happens. We want to be the first call to be able to assist. A lot of people look at this as us publicizing the fact that what we really want to do in this time of need is help. You know, when we've noticed the biggest opportunity to build a relationship is when you need something in a stressful environment, and all of our guys are pretty much trained to be able to take this as an opportunity to, you know, downplay the situation in terms of, yeah, it's water, but we're going to be able to take care of it. We're going to be able to help you out. It's, you know, we'll be able to move forward from this. And that's very important. And a lot of our skilled technicians too, this is common day stuff, but it can be very overwhelming for a lot of people that haven't been around it. We can definitely, you know, a window breaks, it's not the end of the world. We'll be able to swap out a window in a couple of days. You'll be back to your normal lifestyle. So just keeping people, I would say, in a stable environment throughout the whole process. If they need help boarding up, if they're concerned about something, give us a call and we'll reassure you and kind of walk you through the processes to be able to feel more comfortable going into the situation.
Excellent. Love all of that and more. Corey Cazares.
Man, it's just the time to tap on how important it is to have the right people in a situation like this where people are going to start panicking. It's already set in. Costco's empty of water. Kmart or Target is empty of water. People are going to start freaking out. But the workforce behind these companies, Handy Andy, Rescue One, all of these people hiring veterans here, this is where it really comes into play, where this isn't the first crisis that they've faced. This isn't the first moment where everybody's hyped up and they're calm. This is the time when, you know, people like that can really utilize those skills, and this workforce that they've built comes into play. The other part of it is really being able to show the community, give them a window into these companies, show them who we are. You talk about all this advertising, all this stuff that you try and do to give the community you're serving a window into who you are as a company, who your persona is, who your character is. And these are the times when we really get a chance to show it. So it's almost exciting having this opportunity, and also for giving, you know, the people that work here to, you know, an opportunity to shine and show their skill set they learned in the military, remaining calm in a hectic situation.
Although we're looking at something obvious with a hurricane looming, there are other crises that can affect a business. There's so many outside influences, and there's a myriad of them. During the planning process, when you are committing to your own company, Jim, where does that come into play? The what if plans, the plan Bs, or whatever they're called.
We call them situational framing. So we identify when we have a segregated situation like this, we isolate it and then we work around it to build segregated teams. So what we've done is take our workforce, we divide that into different divisions. We then put a team leader in place over those divisions, and then that's how they communicate effectively up the chain. We lay out clear and specific objectives and goals, and we have key results that we're looking to accomplish. And it's top driven. We top down to the bottom, so everyone knows exactly what their expectation is. In the event that there's a problem, we isolate the problem and we all address it, and we develop an action plan and then execute the plan.
Just like that. I love that. But I don't sense that unless somebody has the mentorship or the experience or the exposure, that there's this type of critical thinking that's going into most entrepreneurs and most businesses, right?
They don't build agility in the model typically because they haven't come from this background to where you understand that not everything goes right all the time and that you have to plan for those days. And what we've done is we've looked at a secondary business aligned with our business to benefit the clients and benefit the customers in a certain way. We found that there was a hole in that market and people weren't just prepared at the time of crisis. And so we wanted to make sure we were prepared, and this is our opportunity to shine.
It's amazing that you've developed this concept, developed this series of businesses that are complementary to one another in a mission. And here we are.
Here we are.
I mean, that's just...
It's literally the perfect storm.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds horrible.
It does.
Right?
I mean, but still,
it's
it
actually
is.
the perfect storm.
It is.
Yeah. This is our opportunity for our guys who've been training. I mean, they literally start training 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning, and they're training in a classroom. By the time people see them out in the marketplace, 8, 9 o'clock, they've already been at work for 4 hours just in classroom training. So we really focus on training. We focus on growing individuals, building leaders, and this is an opportunity for everybody to, show what they're made of. And we're looking forward to the challenge.
Goodness gracious. All right, folks that are dialed in right now, you've heard it from Maker of Kings. Let's make sure that you can connect, because we're all in the preparation now. We're all in anticipation. When the reality hits and then post is when we're going to really start reaching out. Where do we go? How do we contact Andy or other companies if people need help, Drew?
So you can call Rescue One Restoration at 808-745-1608. Again, 808-745-1608. And you can reach us at Handy Andy at 808-285-3433. Again, 808-285-3433.
I love it. Love this.
If you need help, reach out.
And that's the best way to do it. And do it soon, and do it with the fellas that we have here with you today. And we're going to be back with more Maker of Kings in just a moment. If you'd like to jump in, 521-8383, and a whole lot more. Stand by. Glad with us here. Of course, it is Maker of Kings' most compelling hour of radio, featuring the fellas in studio. And with time remaining before the bottom of the hour, let's go to our friends online at 521-8383. Let's go to David, Roland, Mark. David, we'll start with you in IAEA. Welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing today?
It's a good day so far. What can we do for you today?
Well, I was listening, and you had an insurance guy that was calling or was on the line, and I guess he was an agent, and they were asking what homeowners can do. And I've seen a lot of pitfalls. I'm a GEC that is also a licensed C42 roofing contractor, and we've seen a lot of claims that came through all the way from the hailstorm that hit Kailua, and then some of the other wind events that have happened over the last few years. And so just have a little bit of insight on stuff for people to look out for when, events like this happen. And a big one that I see that can help in preventing any harm to the actual homeowners, making sure that, obviously that the contractor is a licensed roofing contractor, and not just a general contractor. General contractors are not allowed to solicit, as far as my knowledge, solicit for just roofing, right? They can't go in a case like this and go door to door and let people know, hey, we can help you. And then another issue is making sure that the roofing contractor is an actual roofer, and that they're using their own employees, and that they have workers' compensation. And so where some issues arise is people will be a general contractor, a contractor will knock on a door. They'll say, hey, I can help you with your storm damage. And then they'll go and farm it out to other roofing companies. And there's a lot of mishandling. There's also more paperwork. And so that's just one big thing that I've seen.
All right. Well, we appreciate your call. Thank you very much. And let's get the take from the MOK team in studio. We appreciate him dropping us a call today.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. The bottom line is you definitely want to have a roofing contractor take care of your roofing needs. But in a situation of a board up or something along those lines, to stop the damage, to stop the water coming through the roof, there's quite a few people. I mean, I was a firefighter, and I'm not a roofing contractor, and I've been on more roofs than probably more roofing contractors. So we're not trained in roofing, but we're trained in solving problems. And so that's what we do.
We appreciate that call very much. Anybody, before we jump into the next call? Rich, Drew, Corey? We're dialed in. Let's head on over to Kauai. And Roland online with us. You're on Maker of Kings today. Roland, aloha to you.
Hey, aloha. How you doing, my friend?
We're doing great. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, hey, I've been listening into these two guys who just talked about that. I'm kind of, optimistic about the track of the hurricane, seeing that, it moves back and forth between Hawaii being in the cone, out of the cone. The farther the cone moves away, the better for us, And then, the roofing part and contractors. I survived two hurricanes, Iniki and Eva in '82, the year I graduated. But Iniki was bad, and, I had people in the house I was renting from, that took bids and stuff, and then we had neighbors that actually got ripped off. So the first thing I think anybody needs to do is make sure they bonded and licensed and see their licensing before even giving partial payment, because a lot of people got ripped off on Kauai, and with over 85% of the island's damaged, and a lot of roofs, over $2 billion, like I heard you say $3 billion statewide.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was over $2 billion under George Bush Sr., and that was very devastating for us. We suffered a long time here on Kauai.
No, about it. You had over 80+% structural, 80+% destruction
Yep.
on
It was-
Kauai.
It was horrible. It like, when you look at the pictures, like, a nuclear zone, that's what Kauai looked like. The morning I got up and got out of my house, and I couldn't drive my car. All the power poles were down in Lihue. Basically the lines crossing the road, but the electricity was off. I was riding my mountain bike, and tears just fell as I looked at the mountain range in front. Lihue just looked just burnt out. Everything just ripped. It just looks like a nuclear bomb hit the island that time. So I'm very optimistic about what's going to happen. I just hope it keeps going a little bit more west before it tries to hook. And like you guys are talking about the shearing and the downward wind, I hope it sort of starts ripping it up, because it's very close for comfort. And being a person that's been through two, man, my stomach is in knots, my friend.
I understand. And Roland, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much for the call. And MOK, we started off the program very top of mind, and the experiences and all that's looming.
Yeah, I agree with him. It's definitely an issue. And I think that the one thing that we have to understand is that when there is a crisis, community matters. And we take care of ourselves, we take care of our neighbors, we look after the kapuna, the keiki for a reason, right? And so as long as we're in alignment with that, and there'll be a time for the billing and all that stuff to take place. But initially, we just want to stop the damage and ease the suffering and then move forward from there.
I think they brought up two very good points. Both people are pointing at the same thing. Make sure the people that you're going to be letting in your home are vetted. Make sure you can trust those people. You've got people here that put their heart out on the radio and allow anybody to call in and talk to them, and they show character. And I think that's very, very important. So the point that they bring up is valid and true. Make sure you're letting vetted people into your home.
Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
I think when you're breaking it down, Jim hit it right on the head, is in a time of need. It's really about taking care of your neighbors, taking care of the people around you, taking care of, the most dire need and crisis that's happening. So that's what we're going to be really focusing on, and making sure that people are have problem solvers around. And when there's devastation, you always want to be the first responders. And we have a plan to be able to facilitate and help as many people as possible.
Love all of that. Drew, before we go, your thoughts?
It's just a give, ask. We're going to provide value first up front, and that's the priority.
Yeah.
Add value to everybody's life.
Well, listen, there are people that are dialed in. I started my program off the very first thing in the morning. Anybody needs help, reach out. There's no shame, whatever it might be, however you need to do it. So, Drew, how about that contact information again for people for now and then post?
So for Rescue and Restoration, contact number is 808-745-1608. And for Handy Andy Hawaii, it's 808-285-3433.
And MOK, we're online, right?
Yep.
Makerofkings.com. Hey, we're going to be back. Mark Aleva, hold tight. We want to talk to you next. Maker of Kings happening right now, and we wish you aloha. And thank you for being part of it. Mark out in Aleva leads us off after the bottom of the hour news. Mark, thank you for your patience. You're on with Maker of Kings. Good morning.
Hey, Rick, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
A quick aside, Sunday, full moon, high tide, 3 p.m. I don't think any of the weather guys are mentioning that. But my question is...
Whoa. What was that? It's high tide.
Yeah, 3 on Sunday.
Yeah. No, I was asking about that earlier.
Rick thought it was
like, whoa, is this an episode of Supernatural? What the heck is this?
My question resulted from a conversation I was having yesterday with a National Guard retiree. He wanted to get back into federal service. I told him, oh, good, you get a veteran preference. He said, oh, I'm a National Guard retiree. And from what I remember, I think a couple years ago they had changed it so that all National Guard retirees and all reservist retirees are now considered veterans. And maybe Mr. Cazares might know. I don't know.
Yeah, I appreciate the phone call. I actually don't know the answer to that question. I do know that it has some basis because they've made a ton of changes for veteran status, and some of them have affected me directly. And this might be a call over from our previous show that we've had together. And so I appreciate you calling in. The truth is I don't know about that, but what I can do is look into a little bit more. A lot of these things are just what people hear and what people say and what people talk about, but there is truth to it. And the good news is the VA is more reachable than they ever have been. So let me see if I can find out. I can't promise you that I do, but I don't know offhand.
We appreciate it, Mark. Thanks so very much for the heads up and for the witchcraft that you started the call with. We're reinvigorated. You're dialed in, Maker of Kings, 521-8383. Very, very much top of mind. One of the great part about the call, though, is referring to veterans. veterans being an absolute mission of Maker of Kings and beyond. Let me check in with you, fellas. How are things going? How is the response? And the opportunities aplenty for our veterans.
Yeah, we have a lady that works with us named Deborah, and she's actually very likely listening right now. She part-time or on the side, she works for the Red Cross, and because of her experience in the military, she served 30 years. She has a lot of organizational skills the Red Cross sought out, and she actually volunteers her time to set up shelters here. She's already working right now, not getting paid, setting up 10 different shelters around the island. They sent her to Florida, they sent her to Texas. And so we have kind of an eye into what's happening behind the scenes there, and they are taking it very seriously. They are setting up about 10 shelters right now around the island. And I think everybody that has been through something like this, like Jim and like Deb and people who have seen this, are preparing. These guys are staging stuff around the island, staging trucks and equipment around the island. Red Cross is preparing. So if you're not doing anything, maybe lean on that. This is a direction that the state is moving. Everybody's taking it pretty seriously.
One of the great things, though, is Deb, as a veteran, and
absolutely,
one of the great compelling centerpieces is creating opportunities for our veterans. And I know that outreach, and that is very profound and very important. Just checking in again, the veterans that you have on your team today and the difference that it makes for you and the company.
I think the guys are prepped properly for it. I mean, they're engaged. We've discussed it. These guys rise to the occasion. They, you got to think about the individual here. This is an individual who volunteered to serve this country, right? And they've served this country, and now they're working with us to serve the community. And that's what their mission in life is. And that's our mission, is to provide them with opportunity. And so collectively, I think we're all focused on the same solution, which is community involvement, to find the need, to fill the need, and to help out our community and our friends and family.
Yeah, I hope you don't know. I'm going to get a little bit of inside baseball here, just a little bit, because I love keeping up, and I believe our friends dialed in too, is that we've talked before. We've been on for a bit of time now, and now we've been apprised of the recognition so richly deserved, but also the components of what brought you to this point. If you don't mind, I want to just jump back on in with some of the fundamental elements of what it takes to be successful in your business model, your business plan, with the people you surround yourself with. And has there been anything that has transpired since we were on last that is, again, indicative of how it is to run your business?
Well, I think that, overall, it's the challenge of growth. We're in a growth phase right now. We've been steadily growing year after year. I believe this year we're at, 600% growth?
460 right now.
460% growth. So with that growth comes growing pains, and comes the stretch marks on the brain. And we're
you're the only one with a hat, Jim. But Corey's got one too. So.
My stretch marks are here too.
Exactly. But the goal is to get to the size that we're looking to get to, and then through the growth process we stabilize, and then we're in the stabilization phase of a growth period. We're at how many employees, Rich?
55 right now.
55 employees. So we're stabilizing at 55. And then once it's stabilized, we'll optimize that. Then we'll grow towards 75 and ultimately to 100 and on to 1,000. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is that when people, they try to figure out like what's the end of the movie, and I say we're going to employ 1,000 veterans. They said, well, how are you ever going to employ 1,000 veterans in Hawaii? I said, well, that's the challenge, is how are we going to employ 1,000 veterans? The size and value of the market will support it. The islands will support it. So it's our job to figure out that puzzle, right? It's just an excuse if we don't do it, because we're capable of doing it. It's, do we have the resolve to see it through? And I believe we do. So I think collectively, with your help and everybody here, we'll be able to accomplish that objective. And that's our goal. Our target is to get these individuals out of the service into the community with a family wage job, ability to affect change at the local level, and then onward to the global level.
That's amazing, because I think as you're speaking, I'm thinking the transitioning period with the sheer number that on a regular basis that are going to continue to roll over, and they're here.
Yeah.
Approximately 128,000 veterans right now. But that number is growing.
Yeah.
And there's going to be those that are going to want to eventually get back to their home base.
Yep.
At some point. How do we get them there? How do we ensure that they have the tools and the preparedness to be independent and to create their own?
And that's the franchise prototype model. Mm-hmm. That's the prototype that we're building. We're building a prototype that we can export the talent that's trained here. So if you think about Hawaii being a training hub, which most people don't look at that, and then the ability for these individuals who are here to be trained here, and then to take what they learn from us, go back to where they're from, and to deploy the same resources in that location. That's our overall goal. So each one teach one is the model. So everybody who's here, they're looking for their replacement on day one. So in doing that, they are only aligning with people that are in alignment with them. So people don't recommend people to be part of our team because they're going to be held accountable for their bad behavior if they're bad. So we make sure that each one teach one, but you're also responsible for your brother. And in doing that, then you make sure you choose a candidate that you want to bring on the team.
Do you remember a while back we had a guy named Sterling Bear come on the show?
Yeah,
Sterling
absolutely.
Bear is a champ, man. I really I look up to that guy a lot. He's the same age as I am. He was a graduate from U.S. Vets. And when he came into the show, he talked about living under a bridge, skateboarding with one flip-flop, holding machete. He was out there as out there gets. Whacked out on drugs, homeless, just spent. And do you remember the word he said that brought him back into the fold, brought him back into society, which right now Sterling's getting ready to get married.
Respect?
Pride.
That was it. Right.
Pride is what brought him out of the bridge to seek help, and pride is what kept him through, because not because of his pride that he wanted to be something, but somebody installed the pride back in him by telling him, you're a good person, you're ready to go. Pride is something that gets veterans in trouble. And with all the veterans today taking their own lives, pride is something that can really help, and something that I see being able to do with this company beyond the physical nature is installing pride back into these veterans. When they get out of the service, you lose a chunk of your community, you lose a chunk of yourself, because that's how you identified for so long. And you use that identification to give you a sense of pride. When you get out, you have a career with upward mobility. You have things that are in front of you. How many people putting in siding on a house or putting in trim on a house have a 5-year plan? Probably not that many. Everybody at these guys' company definitely does. The point is, and the point I'm trying to make here, is that pride can keep people out of a lot of trouble that all these other associations can't, because you can't install that into somebody. You have to give them the opportunity to create it within themselves. And I see that happening here with all of these guys. I'm watching it happen. And I think looking back on Bear's situation, it's remarkable the possibility of change that we have to affect in the veteran community, and changing the way the veteran looks 10 years down, 20 years down the road with this new avenue that they never had before. That's a brand new approach. It's a brand new avenue. It's exciting, man. It really is.
But that's the point for Drew and Rich, is because you're on the front line, literally, in not just recruitment, but also working on a daily basis. How relevant is that, what Corey just spoke about, is the internals with each and every one that you encounter, Drew?
So I think the most powerful thing that you could do is help somebody find their why. Like, what is your reason for doing what you do? What is your passion in life? And if we could be a part of that process and try to highlight those opportunities, we might not have the answers right away, but we will do is pose the question. And that's a question that not a lot of people have faced growing up. What is your passion? What do you really want to do?
But if they don't have an answer,
they might not know. But you walk in the front door at Handy Andy, you're going to see some veterans doing some pretty impressive
let's
things.
Be honest, in your 20s, you're not supposed to know. Let's be honest. I don't want to tell that and make that the standard. But you don't know. You don't have enough time on planet to really know what you're even good at. You haven't have enough life experience. You haven't been anywhere, seen anything, have zero perspective. So why would you know and have the answers?
Oh my gosh, I had this conversation with my 15-year-old daughter yesterday about you have to have experience in which you make a decision.
Figure out 25, you're all depressed because I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm older. Well, you shouldn't. You can be 35 and you're still young.
But the key is if you walk in their door, you're going to bump into, whether you want to or not, you're going to bump into some veterans doing some impressive stuff. And if you don't know what you want to do, you're going to see somebody who does, and it's going to inspire you to figure that out. And with the mentoring that they provide, the mentoring that we can give them, it's going to carry them upwards.
The biggest thing is, for what Andrew and I do a lot, is a lot of people don't know their why. You could be 45, 50, 60 years old and you still don't know your why. And the reason why, that's
I'm going to answer my own question.
The hurricane just hit.
Is no one's asked. No one's helped generate the plan. No one's asked the proper questions. We sit down once every 6 months and ask guys, okay, what are we working for? What is your personal goal? How do you want to get better? So they're directed towards that goal, towards that objective. Yeah, they might hit a dead end, and that's really not the path they want. Then we pivot, shift, and we go towards a different objective, a different goal. When you're 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, and your 50s, you're going to probably have different goals, different directions. But the big picture goal is, are you trying to improve yourself? Are you trying to get better as a person? And are you trying to build your capacity? And if those are in alignment, we can do whatever there's so much opportunity at that point for the individual.
But that is so counter. That is, I'm going to use a big word, antithetical to where you find yourself. If you're in a professional relationship, that's not what you're bringing to the table, man. No one has ever asked you. No one ever probes inside.
That's people over profit. That's the difference. Right. So if all you're looking for is money, then obviously the only thing you're going to ask is, what can that person provide me? And you start looking and analyzing that, then how long is that person going to really want to work for you, right? If they're working for themselves, completely different situation. They're passionate about what they're doing, and you've aligned their why with your cause.
I don't want to jump in because we have to take a break, but I want to make sure that people are listening intently. And I know that the relationship I have with my friends who dial in every day, I share everything. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm 57 almost. I've been in the workplace since I was 14. I've never once had a conversation like you've just described with anybody I've worked with or for, ever. And I would imagine that that's going through the minds of many listening right now. You know, you go in, you do your thing. If you're doing well, okay, you're good, you're fine. Just keep doing it, or else or do more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
The conversation hasn't been had because it hasn't been there.
Good is not acceptable.
Well, it's
with
just
us.
like, how could you not have the conversation and truly care? That's what it comes down to. Do you really care?
Do you care?
Do you care? If
And
not,
we use deductive reasoning, belief systems, and stuff to
Yeah.
help people get into alignment.
Right.
So we have a process about that. We can talk about that after the break.
We certainly will. I love this. And you're dialed in together, Maker of Kings. Stay with us. If you want to learn more about Maker of Kings, Drew, you are the informational guru. Where do we go? How do we do
you
it?
can find us at makerofkings.com, or you can call me at 808-202-2922.
He is the 2 radio man.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'll say it off the air. I'm not going to say it on air. We're going to be back together. Maker of Kings resumes in just a moment. Maker of Kings, while we're off the air, we've decided to make this a 17-hour program every day, and we'll do it together. With the gentleman in studio, we're glad you're with us here. It is Maker of Kings Radio, and it's been a very just inspiring, productive day, as always. Deductive reasoning.
Yep.
Can you explain again, please?
Yeah, it's a process of deductions that we go through in order to help people clarify and laser focus their vision. A lot of times people don't understand the process of how to achieve their objectives. And what we do is we write a list down of all the things that you want to be, do, or have. We look at your skill sets. We look at the size and value of the market. We apply your skill sets to the size and value of the market to see if in fact that goal or that target is achievable. If it is achievable, then we put an action plan or a critical path in order to achieve it. And then it's about executing the plan so that the individual technician who's having those thoughts that really want to accomplish these objectives literally have an actionable game plan that they can execute. And providing they execute as prescribed, they'll get a predictable outcome. And that overall process is called situational framing. And that's how we take an ordinary person, put them into an extraordinary situation, and they get an extraordinary outcome.
God, I love that. Like I said, I've never encountered that in.
Well, I hope not everybody's
life.
doing this because that would make us less effective.
No, but I love the fact that you share it readily
Of course.
and just so freely, because it is inspirational on both sides, because we have people that are actually in the business. It's their business. They need to conduct and they need to, but there's also others that are seeking exactly what you're describing. How can I get fulfillment for what it is that I truly desire? And it's not just punching in 8 to 5.
Sure.
It's about creating. It's about, and I'll get back to what's important to me. And we've talked about it before. It's legacy. What am I leaving?
Sure.
What am I impacting? What am I going to have as when people say, you remember that guy?
Yeah.
And aside from being a phenomenal golfer, I'd like for there to be. I don't even think that's
you
gonna
can't bring
probably
a
be.
driver.
It's from a man.
How many
Yeah.
drivers have you not broke? I mean, come on.
But I think it's fulfillment, right? I think you can
Yeah.
climb that ladder of success and get to the top and not be fulfilled. And in my life, fulfillment is through service of helping others. And I think that once you've done all you think you can do, now it's time to give back. And fulfillment, in my sense, is about service to others. And that's what we're doing here. That's what this radio show is about, is that our service to them. It's not just stories and ideas. It's executable, actionable game plans. It's what you need to know in order to accomplish your objective in this particular market in Hawaii, which is a very difficult business climate, which we'd all agree.
Absolutely. In approximately 18 months with the creation of Handy Andy specifically, you've seen meteoric growth, unbelievable success, recognition from various and sundry agencies and publications, etc. If anybody is seeking for any affirmation of what Jim and what the entire team talks about every time we're on the program, If you're looking for that objective look, there it is.
There it is.
There it is. Done. Now, we can talk about it all day, all night, but if you aren't responding or you're not embracing or really processing the information that we're providing, start.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Start.
just
Because there's a lot going on. Conceptually, people are going to kind of wrestle a little bit, right?
But pull the trigger. I think, the process of ready, aim, fire, it should probably be ready, fire, aim, because I think we spend too much time aiming and we don't pull the trigger. So action solves lots of problems. And even if you get out there and it's not correct, at least it gives you a identification of what's not working, so it can take you closer to what does work.
I had someone come up to me and said, "Oh yeah, it's going to be the 3 to 5 year plan to start this company." And I was like, "What are you waiting for? Because how are you going to know any obstacles that you're trying to overachieve? They're all in your head. They're not actually in the market space. You have a plan. What are you doing? How are you doing it?" I think it was Drew and I were in that meeting for a company, and it was just kind of like we started laying out some tasks for him. It was like, you got to start. You got to start somewhere, And
They're waiting for this perfect moment. It's never
There's
going to be
never-
perfect. You're going to fall all the time.
Mhm.
That's how you learn the most. You can talk about it. You're not going to listen to a podcast and figure it out. You're not going to read a book and figure it out. There's not going to be one piece of advice that's going to make you figure it out. You figure it out through experience.
you're going to have days where you feel like you're on top of the mountain, and you're going to feel days that you're drowning.
Like I'm sitting next to a mountain of knowledge right next to me, right? Like he could tell me everything all day.
Mountain.
He's the size of the mountain, right? But you still got to experience it yourself.
Yeah.
You still got to go through the trials and
Right.
tribulations.
Wayne Gretzky, you can't score a goal if you're sitting on the bench.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
I love that. Gentlemen, this has been a phenomenal hour again. Drew, I'm going to turn to you very quickly again. Contact information folks can pursue, and if they need some help during this difficult time that we're facing, what do they do?
They can reach us at makerofkings.com or call me at 808-202-2922. If you're looking for Rescue One Restoration, you can call us at 808-745-1608. And Andy Hawaii can be reached at 808-285-3433.
Gentlemen, thank you so very, very much. Can't wait till the next time. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
Aloha.
Aloha to you all. And aloha to you, and especially to Jess, our executive producer. Phenomenal job today, Jess. Thanks for everything.